There's not like a magic pill that can go in and just say, oh yeah, I'm a culture builder. Well, no, you're a people finder.
I like that.
And then once you find the right people, now you're a servant to them. In a weird way, you're not that important.
Yeah.
Your importance lies in making everybody else that important.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Leave Your Legacy Show with Kenyon Murray. I am honored today to speak with the 23rd head basketball coach at the University of Iowa, Ben McCollum. Now, I'm going to read this verbatim because, you know, for me, his coaching resume speaks for itself, but it's all the other things that he's done. He's built programs on dedication, defense, culture, all those kind of things, developing players. Like, that's really what it's about. And so I'm so excited today to be joined by head coach Ben McCollum. Coach, how you doing?
Man, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing
Excited
good.
to be on.
I'm doing good. We'll get into all the other stuff, but I first want to start with, I was traveling, so I didn't get to watch the game, but I did watch it last night. What did it mean for you and your players to get that win on Tuesday night against Nebraska? Because it was a grind. It might not have been pretty all the time, but what did it mean for you and the kids in the program to get that win?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was ugly. It was a grind. It was a fight. You have to be able to win those games, and we kind of knew going in, because of the way they defend, it was going to be tricky. You know, I think what it meant more than just beating a top 10 team, beating Nebraska, just winning a simple game. I think from a fan perspective and just a program perspective, you know, it was really neat to be able to celebrate something with everybody involved and trying to get this thing going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to get this thing, you know, to one of the better programs.
Right.
And to do that, it takes everybody.
Yeah.
And it takes the fan base, it takes Iowa City, it takes them all, and to have an opportunity to engage with them again was great. For our guys, you know, they had other options, and they chose to come here to build this, and believed in our staff, and you know, I think those are good little benchmarks for them.
Yeah.
For me, you know, like, you kind of just stay pretty processed.
Yeah.
It's like nothing's good, nothing's bad. It's just kind of is what it is, and you just try to continue to improve and get better every day, because you know, those results kind of take care of themselves.
Absolutely. And you've had the I would say the benefit and the blessing of having Bennett as your point guard for the last 4 years, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he's been phenomenal this season when it comes to, you know, people look at the offense, they look at his passing, they look at his steady play and a lot of minutes. But what impressed me most was his defense, because was it you that put him on there, or did Bennett ask for the assignment of guarding Price Sanford the other night?
Yeah, it was both.
Okay.
You know, he's really good on defending shooters. He's just he's got weird length.
Yeah.
And he's got a late twitch and good instincts to where he can get to a few of those and block shots on those. And he's difficult to screen because he's 180, 185 pounds or whatever he is. And so, might even be 190, but somewhere in that range. So he's difficult to screen. So, yeah, I said, but he's going to run around more than anybody you've played. He's a great mover.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's fine. I said, so do you want to play 40 minutes again? He's like, well, sure.
Yeah.
And so he didn't bat an eye. He was pretty determined to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, he's competitive. You know, I think you see the quiet demeanor and you think, is he competing sometimes?
Yeah.
But you don't go from second team all conference Division II, jump up a level, get better, jump up another level, and not be like a fierce competitor. And he is. Like, he's a fierce competitor, and so he took the challenge on.
Oh, that's awesome, man. You want that from your stars, right? It's one of those things, like, he can set the tone, and defensively he set the tone early, because Price, because my boys, they played with Peyton. So
they're both awesome.
But, you know, just that and how he came out on him, I felt really set the tone for you guys early. And he never seems panicked. Like, he has such a calm demeanor. I would say a lot like Chris and Keegan, because that was the one thing coaches always ask, like, are they even playing hard?
Yeah, are they there?
You know, Is he locked in? Because he doesn't change.
I know.
And he never seems out of breath or anything.
Yeah.
So, like, What's it been like coaching him these last 4 years, just to, like you said, to see his progression? Because I've had conversations with NBA GMs about him, and there's a lot of things that I didn't know going into it, but a lot of things that people were saying have really been solidified by his play, especially this last streak. But how has it been to see him grow as a player?
Oh, it's been awesome because he deserves everything that he gets from an accolade or from a attention standpoint, and he's one of those kids that you want your kid to be like. You know, he doesn't party, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do all those things.
Yeah.
Good teammate, good family guy, all those different things. And then obviously from a player standpoint, he didn't have Division I offers and had a few Division II offers.
Yeah.
And so he's always played with that chip on his shoulder, and we always thought when we got him, we thought, he's for sure a mid-major kid.
Right.
Like when we've had point guards like him in the past. And then, you know, about halfway through his freshman year, I said, he's probably a Power 5 kid. It's a heck of a deal. We're playing a D2 with Power 5 kids.
Right.
And then he's just, you know, he kept getting better. He's a little bit different personality than me. We still believe in a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
I'm more, you know, like really outwardly intense and like the emotion of things. And I've always coached point guards that are like that, you know, where they're just, you know, that's just how they are. That's what I've always coached. And so I had to get used to him too, you know, where it's like, I need you to be a little bit more outward. If I could get you from no pulse to just a little bit of pulse, I'll come down a little bit and we'll be all right. And so, but we've gotten pretty good. You know, even in that game the other day, there's about 3 or 4 instances where we were in a full shouting match at each other. And I don't know, I've always, as they get older, that doesn't bother me.
Right.
As long as you don't, like, as long as there's not excuses, you're solution finding.
Yeah.
But there needs to be that conversation. Otherwise, I'll never learn because I'll never know exactly what he's thinking. And he won't know what I'm thinking if we can't communicate in that kind of way.
Yeah. It's amazing how transparent conversations and communication can really help bring people closer together as opposed to the other things. So it's great to hear that. But you talk about Division II now. You're an Iowa kid, or I wouldn't say kid, Iowa man now. But you know Iowa's home. You ended up playing at Northwest Missouri State.
Yes, sir.
And then, so what did it mean to be named the head coach at your alma mater? Because obviously you went there, you led them to an Elite Eight. They hadn't seen that before. What did it mean when you were named the head coach there?
It was kind of shocking at the time and shocking looking back at it because I think it was 26 or 27 at the time, and I think it was the youngest. If it wasn't the youngest, I was one of 2 or 3 in Division II. And you just don't get those jobs.
Right.
And we were a 3rd place team in the MIAA at Emporia State, and I was the assistant. And I think the AD at the time, and he told me the story on the back end, I was 1 of 10, and I was probably number 10 going in.
Really? Wow.
And so we went into the interview, and I practiced for a week. I created the greatest plan on the face of the planet. I don't know if I was going to actually execute it.
Right.
I must have interviewed really well. He said, because you went from 10th to 1st in one interview.
Wow.
And he said, hey, you're going to, like, this is, this is the guy that somebody has to beat him.
Right.
So then I got the job, and I went from being an assistant to a head coach, and I realized how little I actually knew. You know, and it's literally just one day.
Right.
And you're like, oh, so I got to decide on this, and then people are going to question all of those decisions on top of it all.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you'd just give a suggestion, and no one was going to question. You know, when you were right, it was great.
Right.
When you were wrong, who cared? Because no one really cared.
Right.
So it was awesome. It was a fun experience. I'm lucky I had those, 14, 15 years at Division II because it's helped me at both of the other levels that I've been at, simply because you gain a confidence in what you're doing that it's going to eventually work.
Yeah.
And so the noise doesn't bother you as much. Whereas if I would have started at this level in my first year, I don't know that I'd have made it. It's that hard to start off in the noise and all those things with it.
For sure. I mean, and one of the things I really want to touch on is just how you built culture, right? Because culture is a huge thing, and you got to get everybody to buy in. So when you were establishing the winning culture, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, we started Northwest, but obviously you brought that to Drake, and now we're seeing it at Iowa. What were some tough things about building culture, and what were some things that just felt like they just came pretty easily when you were building a program at Northwest?
Yeah. So some of the tough things, we did a lot of things wrong, initially. We really did, and everybody does.
Right.
And that's part of it. But what we did do right was the most important things. And so what we got right was we got the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always about getting the right people and serving them and creating value with them and getting them to understand what their strengths and weaknesses were.
Mm-hmm.
And we always understood how, like we've always felt like good leaders are important, but they're really unimportant on top of it because they understand the value of everybody around them.
Right.
And we understood that right away. We also put a lot of weight into just the process of getting better daily. So it was always, can we make these kids successful once they leave Northwest Missouri State was always our thing. It's like, we're going to win games, hopefully. Now, first 2 years, I still question that. But what do these kids do once they leave? Are they better husbands? Are they better fathers? Are they better citizens? Whatever they get into, do they make the world around them a better place?
Mm-hmm.
And if you focus all your attention on that process of developing young men, we found that the success then comes with it. So those two things, getting the right people, number one,
Mm-hmm.
was the thing that we did well. Because there's not like a magic pill that can go in and just say, oh yeah, I'm a culture builder. Well, no, you're a people finder.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, to me, you're a people finder.
I like that.
And then once you find the right people, now you're a servant to them. And then, but you genuinely believe that in a weird way, you're not that important.
Yeah.
Your importance lies in making everybody else that important. And so we've always felt like that was a strength that we had coming in.
That's nice because, one thing I found, especially recently with some of the things I'm doing is like, as a leader or people look to you to lead, you're the vision caster, right? Mm-hmm. Like you see where you want to go and it's about, okay, what journey is going to get me there? But then being able to have people that you trust, being able to delegate certain things and then have them executed like exactly what you're saying. It's about the team you build around you, whether it's metaphorically or really the team that you build around you. But, how important was it for you to have, I don't know how I really want to say this the right way, because sometimes you can hire people as assistant coaches
Mm-hmm.
and you think it might be a good fit, but it's not. So what do you look for in staffers? Obviously you brought people with you along the way. What do you look for when you're like, okay, I got to hire a new assistant coach? Like what are some of the qualities that you look for in your assistants and your staff?
Yeah. So my first assistant that I hired is a guy named Austin Meyer. He's actually the women's coach at Northwest. The two qualities that I always look for, number one, do they work hard?
Mm-hmm.
I just like, how hard do they work?
Right.
I mean, that's a big deal. It seems really simple,
right?
But everybody thinks talent right away. It's like, no, I want a dude that's going to grind and work.
Yeah.
And then the second one, which I think might be the most important, is how loyal are they to you?
Mm-hmm.
And so do they have a level of loyalty to the program, to you as a coach? The other stuff, a lot of times, you can kind of teach them.
Yeah.
Whether it's this is how you recruit, this is an X's and O's things. That stuff's great. That's just icing on the cake. If they don't have those two things, I don't. And then, obviously, you got to have a level of integrity. You got to be a good human being.
Absolutely.
But I think if you work hard and you're loyal, all those other things are already there.
Right.
Like that means you tell the truth. That means you work with a level of integrity. That means all those different things. And so those two qualities is how we itemized them down.
Okay, I love that. And obviously, a lot of the same qualities you look for in your players, right? When we can go to recruit them and those kind of things. So talking about a chip on your shoulder, I've always thought like, does a coach, if you got two players on the floor and one is like highly ranked, you got this other kid who's like, just like you said, just a grinder and a worker and plays with, like, or do those players stand out for you, or do you always like, okay, we got to go recruit this 5-star, or do you look like, hey, we just want somebody that fits everything that you just said?
Yeah.
Do they fit in our culture? Do they grind? Do they, how are they around their teammates? Those kind of things. So when you talk about player recruitment and then player development, like what are some of the things that you look for when you bring a kid into your program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. It's what fits us.
Gotcha.
So we don't even, whether he's ranked or 5-star or this or that, we don't really care. I think we do put a lot of weight into their work ethic, their energy levels. Are they in good moods consistently? Mm-hmm. How do they interact with teammates on a visit? How do they interact with their parents? Mm-hmm. How respectful are they with their parents?
Yeah.
And we do, and we don't necessarily try to seek it out. We do like diversity of backgrounds. Mm-hmm. I think that's important because, maybe this kid's from Tennessee, maybe this kid's from the inner city here, and maybe this kid's from a suburb in Illinois. And I think those differing backgrounds mm-hmm. help kind of build that program to what it is. And so we look for that. The one thing we don't look for is kids that are moody. So I'm a big no moods guy. Right. I don't do moods. It drives me crazy. I don't understand them. I don't, because it's like one day they're like their dog died, and then the next day they're the happiest guy alive, and you're just like, bro, like you're sucking the life out of whole organization.
Right.
So
that consistency, right? You're looking for that consistency.
Man. And then, you look for the physical tools, the physical toughness and stuff like that. But,
right.
More important, honestly, you just meet somebody, you either vibe with them or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we do it.
Has there been a kid, and obviously we don't want names, but has that been a kid that was really high on, say, your recruiting board, but then some of the things that you say you look for, he wasn't the right fit, and you're like, okay, because I know not all talent is good talent, right?
Yep.
So has there been a kid that you guys are really high on, you saw him in other situations, you're like, okay, he's maybe not the guy for our program?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It's happened quite a bit. At Northwest, we had built in a good culture, and one that you're recruiting, and then eventually you find out, man, it's just not going to be the right deal. Like, it's not going to work for him, and it's not going to work for us. And honestly, it's not fair to the kid either.
Right.
That's why I always tell coaches when I'm like, hey, I'm asking you if this kid is moody, because if he comes here and he's not going to make it. Mm-hmm. But other coaches can handle those things.
Yeah.
So it'd be better for him to go to another program. And then we've taken some that are great kids. It's just, it doesn't fit the vibe of what I like. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, because we had built a really strong culture, those players generally let go of themselves, meaning they don't fit.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, it's like, man, I'm not a fit.
Yeah.
You're not a fit for me. I'm not a fit for you, etc. Let's move on. It's all love and be good.
Those are tough conversations, especially for a 19, 20, 21-year-old, that kind of stuff. Like, and I admire that, right? Because I think what you're teaching there in that instance too is like, it's like a job, right? Mm-hmm. You get in, you think, your resume looks great, you get in, and then it's just, whether it's the work ethic or things like that just don't fit. And you're having conversations like a CEO and bringing people in. And so I think being able to merge those things together to build the program you want are so key in your success. I mean, shoot, it led to 4 national titles, right?
Yeah.
So let's get there. 4 national titles, numerous Coaches of the Year award. What do you feel when you won your first national title? How did you feel in that moment as a coach, as a competitor? Like, what was that like for you to win your first one?
Not what you think. To be honest, you compete so hard to get there. We had lost 3 straight Sweet 16s, and in Division II, making the Elite Eight is a lot like making a Final Four. You go to a separate location, but it's regionalized. So our region was the best region in the country, the Central region. And so we not always have the national champion, but we a lot of times have the national champion come out of there. So we had lost it 3 straight times, all by just a few points.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking we were close, and then I had a player, Zach Schneider's his name. He actually went out publicly and guaranteed we'd win the national title the next year, which was impressive. He forced guys, because in Division II, you can't coach them in the summer.
Right. He
forced players to stay in Maryville during the summer and work out, and he ran it all.
Wow.
And so we went into that next season and got through it and made some changes, and obviously won the national championship. But I got done, the confetti comes down, and you shake the other coach's hands, and you're kind of like, this is what it feels like. It's like it doesn't feel the euphoric feeling that you would think.
Right.
Like it's not that. But what happens is you start to think of all the memories that like even me just thinking of it right now, I'm not thinking about that instance. I'm thinking about one of my first players, Deshaun Cooper, kid from St. Louis, 5'7" point guard that was bound and determined to make sure that our program flipped.
Yeah.
Lost his first 2 seasons, ended up winning a conference title his last 2 seasons. Like he started it for us. And so you start to go through all those memories and my wife and kids battling through that, because this is a tough undertaking for a 27-year-old. And so you think of all those memories, you don't necessarily think of just, oh, this is the wow accomplishment.
Yeah. Was it like you just like kind of a sigh, like, oh,
it's a relief. Winning's a relief.
Right.
Yeah, winning's a relief. It's you want everybody to be enthusiastic because it builds momentum.
Right.
As a coach. But if you actually feel that way, it's the quickest slippery slope to go back down.
Right.
And so you have to be careful that people understand, like, part of this is you're just building momentum.
Yeah.
It's not that you necessarily feel that way about a win.
Yeah. And what you talk about is what we're trying to really relay to our kids in our program at Murray Elite is, this is your team. It's not my team. And what you described is that player-led team. And it's been one of those things I think people don't really understand as much, especially kids today, because they have learned the game so much differently than we did growing up. But even now, so would you feel like all your national championship teams, there was somebody that stood out and was that leader, was that player leader who was a voice and extension of you? Did you have that every year when you guys were winning the way you were winning? Yes,
we had elite leaders. Mm-hmm. Yes, we had some of the better leaders. Deshaun Cooper, obviously, to start. Zach Schneider. We had Trevor Hudgens, Diego Bernard. We had so many good leaders. Bryston. We had, every year we had 2 guys that would essentially run the program. Like Drake last year when we were at Drake, we had Daniel Abreu, we had Mitch Muscari, and we had Isaiah Jackson. Mm-hmm. And they were the ones who ran practice. Yeah. You do it. They were the coaches.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to empower them to do that.
Right.
Like that's what you have to do. Like that's your job, is to build those guys up, and then, their strengths, like, allow them to shine.
Yeah.
And it's hard for some coaches, hard for some leaders to do that because they want it to be about them and what they did and how great they are. And it's like, no, like I'm, I always tell people, I joke around, like, Bennett Sturks makes me look like I can coach. It's the truth. Does he not? You know what I'm saying? It's
Every play call was great.
Yeah, it's like we're a really good rebounding team. Like last game we were a great. Tavion Banks makes me look like we're tougher than heck.
Yeah, right.
Right? Had nothing to do with me. It's Tavion Banks. He's tougher than heck. Like that's what it is. Yeah. And so, like, I don't know. I mean, this is the truth.
Yeah.
But what leaders do is they put those kids in the position to do those things. They empower them to do them.
Yeah.
And they force them to understand how great they actually are.
Yeah.
And it's like, bring that greatness out of people and then you become valuable as a leader.
Yeah, no, I love it. So it's a great segue, because you leave a very successful program that you helped build and you go to Drake. I know you didn't go into it thinking like we're going to be one and done, but what was that transition like? Obviously you've made some comments about, like, when you have a core of kids that come with you from a program, it's maybe a little bit easier to, understand, hey, here's our culture, this is how we're building it. Were there any things that were a surprise to you going from Northwest to Drake? It's a jumping level, right? Mm-hmm. So was there anything that surprised you about that jump, or did things kind of flow pretty smoothly for you in that transition? Yeah,
I would say there's 2 kind of phases to that. There's the personal and then the professional parts to that. So the professional, no, not a lot surprised me. I thought there was going to be more that did, to be honest. And so I was probably prepared for okay, you don't actually say this, but kind of you think it a little bit, like, I don't know if we're going to win every single game like we did at Northwest. We actually lost fewer games at Drake than we did at Northwest the previous season, which is wild.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if those guys, were going to be able to win at that level, but I knew the culture was going to be set.
Right.
And they were able to win at that level. I wasn't sure on the coaching if it would be different. There wasn't much difference. I thought, honestly, sometimes Division II coaches, because they have to change to their personnel so often, actually could do it better. But the players were a little bit better. The night in, night out, making sure that you're ready was a little bit better. So that was a change. From a personal perspective, that was probably as hard as it gets, just because you're moving a junior in high school, you're moving a freshman in high school, and then you're moving your daughter, who at the time was fourth grader.
Yeah. And
that's hard. And then you're moving your wife, and you had a very happy life. Everything was great.
Yeah.
And, there was multiple jobs throughout the years that we had just said no to. And we thought, okay, it's probably about time, to try to make your impact somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, that first week, I was like, what did I just do? And it wasn't a Drake thing.
Right,
it was just everything was there. And we just flipped it completely upside down.
Yeah.
And completely took ourselves out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And, we're still, trying to get our feet back underneath of us to this day. Yeah. So that was tough.
I was going to ask, what were the conversations like with the family? Because I think one of the things that most fans don't think about is how wins, losses, media, reporting, all those kind of things affect you at a completely different level, because it's not just you. Now your kids are going to school and it's like, oh, you guys lost this and the other thing. Yeah. So what was the conversations like with the family when you said, okay, you sat down, like, I really, really want to take this Drake job? What were those kind of conversations like at home with your wife and your kids?
I think they wanted to do it more than I did.
Really?
To be honest. Yep, I do. I'm not a natural mover. I like my people.
Yeah.
And one of my assistants always gives me crap. He goes, you just think your grass is always greener. Like anywhere you're at, you think it's the greatest place on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And can't see that other places can be good too.
Right.
It's just that, it's how I am. It's just like my friends. My friends are the greatest friends ever.
Yeah.
Your friends are not as good as my friends. It's just what it is. That's how I've always been wired. And so naturally, I always was like, I'm happy, I'm good. But I started to notice that I started to choose not to go to a job, and I stopped choosing to come back to Northwest Missouri State. And so Trevor Hudgens, one of my former players who played with the Houston Rockets for a season, his dad's a minister, and I remember him saying, that anxiety that you're feeling with every one of these decisions, every single time, it's more and more anxiety, and it's more and more difficult. Mm-hmm. And from his perspective, it was God pulling you this direction. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's like he's making it harder and harder for a reason. And it's time.
Yeah.
And my wife was the perfect partner for this, because she's every time a job, we'll go. It was never even. I remember some of the jobs, I'm like, I'm not going there.
Right.
I'm not doing that. No, let's check it out. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you so confident in this? This is terrible. I'm miserable.
You do realize, like, a wife is someone that supports us, that protects us, and usually sees what's best for us before we see what's best for ourselves, right?
And she's just like, I remember one day before it, she goes, we just need to go, and we need to, as a family and specific to you, you need to go be great.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I don't want to be great. Like, I don't want to be, that's not what I'm searching for. He said, but that's not what, she's like, well, that's not what you mean. You have to be great for other people, because you've been blessed with some of these gifts. And she's supported the whole time. Like, I don't think people realize how difficult that is on the family side of it, because they have to make all these sacrifices. But then, I do a podcast, or everybody tells me how good I am when you win a few games, and stuff. Now, to me, it doesn't do anything for me, because you get used to it. Just like, yeah, but if I do bad, you'd be the same person that says, like, I know who my people are. Like, I got that.
Right.
But for them, it's just like, well, I just have to be the one that just comes along. And then on top of it, like we talked about, it's stressful in games. So like in big games, I'll have to tell the younger kids, my daughter in particular now, but it used to be my boys in national championship games because it's really intense and there's a lot at stake. And so I'd always tell them beforehand, it was always, hey, if we lose, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Because I remember the first time we lost one of those, and it was Tate, my youngest. He cried. I swear he cried for, he was upset.
Really?
Oh, because so then you have to tell your daughter, the other day we go to Nebraska, and this is a funny story. I don't know if I should tell it, but she's getting in the car with my wife, and she says, we may lose this one today, huh, Mom? And my wife's like, maybe Nebraska's really good. They're number 9 in the country.
Yeah.
And Dad's going to be okay if we do.
Yeah.
And she got done. She got back in the car. Oh, we won. That was a heck of a deal to my wife. And it's just funny. The family perspective is fun. I know that's not what the podcast is about.
Oh, no, it is. It is. It's exactly what it's about, right? Because, the man you are because of the people that you have around you, right? And I think, being married as long as you've been, as long as I've been, I don't think people understand just that emotional toll because our wives, our kids have to deal with some of the ups and downs of what's going on. And it's hard for us to, make sure we stay in that moment, right? That we don't bring it home. And so often, coaches bring that home and it's just not good. So the fact that you have that kind of transparent communication, you talk to the kids, like, that's amazing. And it sounds like you have some pretty grounded kids and a very grounded wife when it comes to it. And so that is as much a part of your success as anything that you do in the gym.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is about. I think more than anything, I realized that the people you have around you, and it changes, right, all the time. Like, there's some people that might have been close to you a year ago, but because of your circumstance or theirs, they might not be as close to you, right? And so those are all things that we or fans don't think about. They don't think of you as a real person.
Yeah,
they don't think of you as a real person.
I will say this. I remember taking this job, and I remember how people would, because at Northwest, you're still a coach, and so you'd have some people view you differently. When you got here, some people that are close to you on accident would now view you on this pedestal as though you're a different person than you were before.
Yeah.
And so I always tried to make sure that my family doesn't, like, I'm not the coach at Iowa. Like, I'm father, husband, friend, all those different things. And so the nice part is from a staff perspective too, I've surrounded myself and we've surrounded ourselves with truth tellers. And so they're people that will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And then you have to not be afraid of that, because they'll tell you things, there'll be times I'm like, man, you're right. I don't like that you said that, but you're right. Or I'll say something to them, and those guys can't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
And I can't be afraid to tell them the truth. And so, if you surround yourself with those loyal guys that tell you the truth, and obviously your family, and I think that can allow for some of that success. But you don't ever want to be viewed as the coach. The coach thing gives you the platform to make the difference in people's lives. Yeah. Like, that's how I view it. Now, I don't think every coach at this level views it. Some of them view that I'm this really good coach that should make all this money and look at how great I am, et cetera, et cetera. I try not to view it like that, because you're really, you're only as good as the impact you make. And so we just want to make sure we continue to do that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a different world out there now for coaches. It's the winning culture. I just did a podcast on NIL, and it was actually received pretty well. But like, there are certain things about NIL that I really like, and there's other things that it's not even NIL. I think it's more the portal. It's more how that's affecting college basketball. Because the one thing I say about here is, when you came in, I knew one person on the roster. Yeah. I knew Cooper. Yeah. What I mean? Like, his dad and I played together. So I knew Cooper. And the one thing that, that a lot of people say, like, we don't get to connect with certain players, and those kind of things. I think if there's a coach that's done what you've done. I mean, you've made it a point like to interact with the fans and those kind of things. You can see it, right? Like it's going to come. Like you're going to win. It's going to come. But with the portal and the situation now, how were you thinking about that going from Division II to Division I, going from a mid-major to a high major? I don't know if it has, but has your way of recruiting changed because of that? Because we have coaches that say, I'm going to go get portal kids first before I recruit high school kids. Yeah. And we're trying to tell our kids, hey, it's a different recruiting world now. So how do you view this new world of NIL and portal when it comes to building your roster? Because you'll have to do that, obviously, with a lot of your kids graduating and leaving. Yeah, what's your take on that? How are you looking at it?
We would prefer to keep the foundation with high school. And so we say we recruit from within. Right. And hopefully we build those kids up. You have to have the right mentality to be able to, sometimes you'll have to wait your turn, sometimes you'll play right away. But you have to have the right mentality to be able to handle some of those things. So you have to find kids that do that. Yeah. I do think the portal does have a place though, because I do think it can improve your talent pretty quickly. Yeah. With some of the foundation that you've already built. So you build that foundation and now you add some aesthetic things, which would be the portal. And now all of a sudden you've got yourself a really nice house, but you have to have that foundation first, which is, your high school kids. From an NIL and portal perspective, I think my opinion is probably different than most. I don't think it's a kid problem as much as it is an adult problem. I think we've created it as adults. I think we've created the NIL. I think we've done it. And I think it's because whether it's a lack of integrity or there's a lot of money at this level and people like their jobs and people like the money at this level. Yeah. And so naturally you're going to do a little bit more to try to do this. You're going to take advantage of this. You're going to take advantage of this kid. You're going to have a transactional relationship over here. And all of a sudden it becomes the norm. It's like that's not working with the level of integrity. That's not what it is. And so, and then the voices and outside noise and all that stuff comes with it. And so, I think if we want to correct some of those issues to be able to coach kids to not let them transfer, one, coaches, we need to make sure we tell the truth in the recruiting process. Right. That would be the first step, and then we need to work with the level of integrity ourselves. I don't know that it's ever going to change. I don't know that we're ever going to have a full, like the higher you get, the less there is from an integrity perspective. It's because money. Yeah, absolutely. Right? It's every profession. It's the banking industry. It's any profession. Yeah. Because there's so much money, and they're so competitive, and those people are so competitive that they'll do whatever they need to do it. And so, in relation to that, do I think kids should be paid? Yeah. Yeah. Do I think that they should be able to transfer that many times? I don't. But it's hard because maybe they did get lied to. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat with you. I do believe that NIL is a great thing. I talked about how it can be a blessing and a curse, right? I mean, especially now when we've got sports agencies, and I would say the one that represents my boys is in the same thing, is they're looking at top tier talent at the high school level now, and they're signing those, because I said now talent's not enough to make it, because it becomes branding and things like that. Like, you might be super talented, but maybe you've done some things, whether it's social media, some bad deals, you've left on bad terms, that affects you now. Now people can't, your talent can't overshadow that, because as you're trying to build a culture, you want people with integrity. And if you have a player that's kind of transferred every year, it's like, do I really want? And that's why I tell people, like, when you leave a program, even at the AAU level, it's like, if a kid has bounced to 3 different programs in a year or two, do we really want that kid in our program? Because we're trying to build, like you said, a foundation, a culture, and we want kids to understand, like, if you stay and work and really enjoy the process will help you get to where you want to go. So I believe NIL is a great thing, but I do feel like educating parents now at the middle school, high school level is so important, because we're in this clicks culture, the likes culture, and things like that, and our kids are comparing themselves to other people. It's like, you just compared yourself to a 5-second clip of a kid that got a windmill dunk. Well, why is he getting that? It's like, is it really matter? Because Chris and Keegan won Division I offer. They had a Northwest Missouri State offer. I mean, they would have been just fine at Northwest Missouri State. I remember seeing them in a back gym in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these guys are on the second team, for heaven's sakes?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the process, man. I tell kids, like, if you don't love the process of getting better, you won't reach the level that you want to lead, because you've got to do so many things in silence. I say there's three things. There's three keys. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice time with friends, vacation, those kind of things. You have to love the process, right? You got to be able to say, okay, I know I'm gonna spend more time in the gym doing this, so I got to be locked in. And then the last thing is you got to be willing to stand out. And when I say that, I always said good and bad. Like, if you're the best player on the team, how do you take that? Or if you're the best player on the team and something negative, or you didn't have a great game, like, how do you deal with that? You have to be able to deal with both, right? And you have to be able to know who you are in those moments. And I think if kids can do those three things, then they'll be successful regardless of what they're doing. But yeah, no, it's different now. I actually feel like my greatest failure was why they succeeded. Because as a dad, I was coaching them. I couldn't do the things that I thought I could help them do, get recruited and those kind of things. And sometimes it's those moments where you humble yourself, where things really pop. Yep. And God led us to DME and allowed my wife to go down there. But I think with today's kids, they don't understand the grind that goes into it. And they feel like if they're talented, it'll override everything else. But they got to have those qualities to be successful.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right. So I got to ask this, because you're an Iowa City guy. Iowa comes calling. When you got the phone call from Iowa, like, we want to interview you, like what did you feel in your gut, in your soul?
Yeah, it was strange. I mean, it was surreal, because I was actually, I didn't get the call then, but I was at my son's state title game. And it was in the middle of the game that I think it had announced that they had let go of Fran. And so then I started getting text messages, and I'm like, not from any Iowa representatives, but just like buddies and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is this? And so I'm like, all right, finish the game, walk out. And then I think maybe a day or two later they called, and wanted to meet or wanted to have a conversation. And so I had the conversation, great conversation, felt good about it. Well, then we were in the NCAA tournament. And so, that whole week, it's like, when I hit Wichita, I'm not talking about this job. Like, I'm here. Like, I'm with this team. And I'm not gonna lie, it turned other programs off, that were also looking for coaches and stuff like that. I think it made Beth want, us to be there more, and because it was like, okay, I appreciate that. And so ended up taking the job that Sunday. But yeah, it was still is to this day. You're just, I'm interviewing with you. I mean, I used to watch you, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I used to watch. And you'd go to those Hawkeye camps and you'd just desperately try to win the practice shorts that were probably 50 years old, but they were the coolest thing on the face of the planet. Right. Practice shorts. This dude's got 20 of these practice shorts. Like, I see them now and it's like, those are just practice shorts, but the kids don't see it that way. Right. As a kid, it was like, or the shoes that they wore or whatever. And so, it's been awesome and been well received. You know, I think the people around here have really enjoyed the fact that I'm from Iowa and the kids that we have in our program. Yeah, no, I tell people Iowa's a special place. I think it should be viewed as a destination, not only for coaches, but for athletes. The reason I came is because of the people. The reason I'm still here is because of the people and the support you talk about, or like the kids, right? Like I remember those camps and I remember being around those kids and just how, we were so connected to our fan base. And that's one thing that I think, obviously, moving here and doing some different things in the arena will help bring people back as well. Obviously, winning helps, but I always felt like this should be a destination job and not a stepping stone. And there's been some coaches in the past I felt have viewed this as a stepping stone that remain nameless. But I just love the fact that I've always wanted an Iowa guy here, whether they played here, grew up here. Like, I've always wanted an Iowa guy here because I think you understand how special this place can be, how special Carver Hawkeye can be. And I think sometimes people that
don't know it, don't really realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was great to have a Iowa guy become the new head coach. So we're definitely happy that
No, I
you're here.
appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been a wild time, but it's been fun. So.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. So all of my interviews always end up with, I have some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So they're all fun.
Quick answers.
Quick answers.
Okay.
All right. So, first one. What's your go-to comfort meal after a long day?
I like steak.
You like
Steak, oh yeah, by far and away steak.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Second one. What's something small that always puts you in a good mood?
Oh man. I mean, for me, probably a run.
A run.
Yeah, I love to go for a run. Yeah.
I never understood running without a basketball.
That's right. Most people don't.
No. Hey, we got to do killers. Give me a basketball. I'll drill the basketball down for you.
Yeah, I just love it's just being outdoors, just something simple outdoors.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So, personal discipline, this goes here. What coaches have you pulled your inspiration from? Like, there's a coach that you watched or what they said or how they ran their program. What's a coach that you like? Okay, I really like what they do. I want to maybe pattern some of the things that I do after him or her.
Yeah, I would say I'll kind of give it two that I don't really know. I know enough to, like, I've talked to him, and then one that I played for. Steve Tapmeyer was the coach that I played for, where I pull a lot of the culture stuff from. Two guys that I have studied a lot would be Billy Donovan and Jay Wright.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, so funny Billy Donovan story. So he was at Kentucky when when I was in high school, and I remember going to their camp, and I really got close with Billy, and he started calling me Special K. That was probably the hardest phone call I had to make when I committed here. Was calling Kentucky and being like, telling Coach Pitino. I mean, they were great. Pitino, Herb Sendek, Billy Donovan, and trying to think who was the other coach there. I can't
All head coaches now.
Yeah, all of them. It's been amazing. But no, Billy's a good one. I really like him. And whenever I see him at the NBA, it's like, hey, what's going on? So a good guy. All right, last one. Okay, this is kind of interesting. What's been one of the most surprising lessons as a coach as you move from D2 to mid-major to Power 5?
Yeah. It's something that I've just focused on constantly. It's probably just making sure that you remain somewhat egoless. And so, like, every year, I read the same book to start every season, and I've done it for, I think, 10 years. Is Ego is the Enemy, and just making sure that you're very aware that, I don't know if you say you're not that important, but that your ego is gone, like it's checked out.
Yeah.
And so as you move up, you just have to be more and more aware and in tune with that to make sure that that's your value is what you do for other people, not what other people do for you. And so just making sure that I maintain that is probably the lesson that you continue to learn.
Wow. That's powerful. That's transparent. And I don't think that's the thought of most people in your position either. You know what I mean? Because most people will say, we win because of me. Yeah. And to be able to do that and set your ego aside, I mean, more than anything, man, I feel like that keeps you grounded. It keeps you walking in your purpose as a coach. So I love that. Absolutely love it. Yeah. All right. So coaches this is one that's not even on here. So coaches typically don't get a lot of vacation time. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, what is or would be a bucket list trip for just you and your wife to go on?
Me and my wife. Yes. Good question. We've been to Hawaii, but we want to go there again. Hawaii was our favorite spot. Okay. Yeah. Bucket list for me is like Alaska and go out in the wilderness, and that's like my thing. I could be out there alone I'd take my family, but I could get out there and fish and hunt and do all that stuff and just be in the wilderness. That would be fun for me.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Get away from all the people.
Yeah, just enjoy. Like, I just love the outdoors. I love the peace. I like, that's just what I've always enjoyed.
No, it sounds like you're really centered. And part of one of the things that I'm in a couple men's groups. One thing that we talked about is just being out and taking in God's miracle, which is the earth, right? I mean, it's amazing that this place is created has everything that can sustain us, both natural and artificial right now. So I love that. I love that piece. Now, do you have like a morning ritual or anything like that where you get up, whether it's your run, and just you really center yourself? Is there something that you do every day for that?
I don't probably enough. I think during the summers when the sun comes up a little earlier, I enjoy running early in the morning.
Yeah.
But not a lot. I just get up and watch film and get going. I mean, that's unfortunately what the job entails. And so you just start working. Start working quicker. I need to do better at that.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited that you're here. What you've done this year has been amazing. And I think, where people might have questioned your style of play, I mean, it wins.
Yeah.
It wins. And you've won scoring 50 and you've won scoring 90.
Yep.
And so I think that people, what you can build here is going to be great. And I just can't wait to see what you do the rest of the season and moving forward. And we're just excited to have you. So I'm just blessed to have you on the show today. And so I just want to say thanks for taking some time this morning and sitting down with me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yep, absolutely, bro. The Leave Your Legacy podcast is brought to you by Covenant Workplace Solutions. Covenant is a full-service workplace mental health and wellness partner, helping organizations across the country strengthen the lives of their employees and the families they go home to every day. Your employee assistance program should raise the bar, not simply check the box. And Storyline Multimedia. Storyline is an Iowa City-based media company that creates high-quality video, photo, and audio for local businesses. They produce a number of great podcasts, including this one. If you're interested in sharing your story, please contact them at storylinemultimedia.com. And remember, your story matters.